Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mary... Yeah, thanks, Jova. Mary Poppins Returns. So, yet another Disney live-action thingy that we're doing.
I'm not
We seem
gonna
to be doing a
lie.
lot of these, it seems.
You told me we were doing Sound of Music.
We already
You
did
Sound of
that.
Music, and I love that movie.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. After handling something that went to the heights of something like Cruella, while this is not necessarily an amazing or really good movie, it feels anticlimactic going to
It's just
this
mediocre.
after looking at, again, Cruella, which
Well, look
really...
at the bright side, Jova. Look at the bright side, Jova. After Cruella, you'll have an easier time appreciating this movie, I guess.
Yeah, look, it's a movie that has Lin-Manuel Miranda in it and doesn't use him for songwriting. I'm still going to express my disappointment.
Oh, trust me. I'm right there with you. Don't worry, because the songs in this movie are bland and forgettable. But anyway.
So here's a sequel with quite a long
Alright,
gap in
everybody.
between it and its original.
Since the original Mary Poppins was already live action, we can't make a live action remake of it. So what do? We make a sequel. Now, everybody, you're probably thinking, "Oh, okay, this is fine." So they're gonna get another one of P.L. Travers' books and adapt that. Yeah, that would be the logical choice, but they did not do the logical choice. Instead, what we have is a sequel to the original film, and it doesn't really take anything from the books. All it does is okay. The only thing that this is more like the books is the characterization of Mary herself, because the way Mary is written in this movie is much more faithful to P.L. Travers' original vision. But that's about it. Everything else is basically just a rehash of the first movie. But you'll be able to see that for your own. All right, everybody. Everybody, if you're on the Disney Plus version, start at 1 second. If you're on the Blu-ray, start at 3 seconds, and you'll be in sync with us. Everybody ready?
Ready.
Yes.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
So from what you're telling me, Pedro, apparently the Mary Poppins had a book series as opposed to just the one book?
Yes, book series. To give you some context, Dejimon, my mom was the one that introduced me to Mary Poppins, the original film, back when I was a little kid, like 5 years old or something. And this is the movie that introduced me to Julie Andrews, the first movie. I mean, sorry. I'm a big fan of the original Mary Poppins, and we all loved it when we commented it a few years back. So let's see how the sequel turns out.
Wait a minute. Why is London in the background of a Disney castle? There wasn't a Disney World in London last I checked.
Because Disney bought to the UK.
You know what? Sure, why not? Have fun with that, Shiroi.
We have to wear mouse hats every day. It's pretty gross.
Yeah,
Especially since you're a cat person.
This is my prediction. 50
I feel
years.
violated.
Guys, this is my prediction. 50 years from now.
All right, here's one of the few good things.
Whenever we wake up, we have to wear a Disney hat and sing "It's a Small World After All."
Anyway, we open up with our first song.
Here's one of the best things about this movie: Lin-Manuel Miranda. Bert is not in this movie. However, Dick Van Dyke is in this movie. He will be playing the old. Remember the owner of the bank, the old guy.
Yes.
He died. If you remember, at the end of the first movie. Well, no, he didn't die. He just retired. Sorry.
No. He did die. They literally state that he died laughing.
Sorry, I'm mistaking it for a different character. You're right. He died. Basically, remember his son, who was supposed to succeed him?
Yeah.
David Van Dyke is playing now the old incarnation of that character, basically, because this takes place like 20 years or so.
So basically,
does Dick Van Dyke try and do a British accent in this one too?
No. It's just
my God.
I don't think he does. But we have Lin-Manuel Miranda. What do you think of his British accent, Liz?
I need to hear it properly. I'll wait till he starts.
He's singing it right now.
Yeah, he's singing. So I'll wait till he starts, talking.
Okay, so the songs of this musical.
He's the first great thing about this movie, Lin-Manuel Miranda, because Lin-Manuel Miranda is inherently great, no matter where he is. So obviously that's just.
Well, that's the thing, though. He's only an actor in this film.
Again. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of which, the songs in this movie. Pedro, shall we?
Yes, the songs in this movie are okay. While Drips check who wrote the songs, because I can't be bothered.
I don't know about the songs. I know the score was composed by Mark Scheinman.
Yeah, could you please check the songwriters, Drips, while I talk about this? Okay, so they got these songwriters to the songs that I haven't heard of. And let's just say the songs in this movie aren't great, which, considering the original film had some of the best Disney songs ever made. Go ahead, Dibs.
Hang on, I just sat down.
Okay. That's kind of egregious. You'd fit now, considering, which begs the question. You have Lin Miranda in this project.
Hey guys, I remember that from the original movie.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The lyrics were, as well as Scheiber doing the music, the lyrics were written by him and Scott Whitman. So it's not like we've got complete unknowns writing this. Mark Scheiber is an established composer. And Scott Whitman's done stuff for like Hairspray and Bombshell.
Okay, then is Mark Sherman even known to be a songwriter? I only know him as a score composer.
He's a lyricist and a composer.
Okay, so
Okay.
so he does have some art with the songwriting then.
Well, I can tell you that the songs in this movie aren't great.
Okay, they're not bad per se,
They're
but
not bad. They're just
I really cannot
average.
remember any of them.
Me
Well,
either.
okay, except for maybe the last one, and that's only because the lyrics are literally "There's nowhere to go but up."
not. It's one of the big reasons that immediately makes you ask. You have freaking Miranda involved in your project. Why didn't you get him to write the songs while you were at it?
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if he actually wrote the song, but in terms of like songs with lyrics in them from Mark Scheiman, again, I don't know if he actually wrote that song. The only one I can think of is that song from North.
Oh God.
Okay, I'll admit I kind of like that song in a case of fascination. Oh, don't get me wrong.
North wasn't a musical.
Oh, let the Jova finish. Go ahead, Jova.
I liked the song. I'll admit it. I liked the song. But it completely did not fit the movie. Granted, I don't know whether or not that's a blessing in disguise given how terrible that movie in general was.
Oh yeah, he also did the Sister Act films.
Oh, Colin Firth is
yeah,
in this.
Yeah, this movie has a completely
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Yeah, Disney got over their checkbook and got an amazing cast. Emily Blunt, Emily Mortar,
But not Julie
Ben Whishaw,
Andrews.
Meryl Streep, Colin Firth. Seriously.
But Julie Andrews is nowhere to be seen.
I have something to say about that, Joe, but I will save it for the end of the movie.
I have a question.
What?
Yes.
Have
Dejimon?
any of you guys seen Saving Mr. Banks?
Yes.
No, I've not gotten around to, but I've heard good things about the movie, I guess.
It's a good movie. It's just that the behind-the-scenes motivations of the movie being made are like if you just watch the movie on its own without caring about the context of why it was made, it's a good movie. It's just that
Disney didn't want to make Walt look like the bad guy.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a good movie. Just watch it on its own without caring about everything
Oh
else.
my god.
But
So basically this opening credit scene is pretty much spoiling bits from the movie.
based upon the Mary Poppins stories by P.L. Travers, and by that we mean we slightly changed her Mary's personality to be more like the books, but that's about it.
So what you're telling me, Paige, is that Disney had perfectly good source material to make sequels off of, but they just opted not to.
Look,
That is exactly what happened with the Star Wars sequel trilogy. God damn it!
I know about the director actually.
Yeah, Rob Marshall.
Rob Marshall. Basically, his film directing career started in 2002 with Chicago. And he was also a choreographer for that film.
I love
He also did Memoirs of a Geisha, 9, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, Into the Woods, and this film. In this film, he's also the choreographer as well as the director.
Anyway,
she was calling for Michael and Jane upward as if they're up there, but they're not. They're actually in the living room.
And grown up now.
Well, yeah, this is like 20 years after, I think.
I love how the two sailor guys who were older than their father outlived the father, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Not just that, Jove, as you're about to find out, Michael outlived his wife as well, because of course it wouldn't be a Disney movie if you didn't have a dead parent in here.
Well, don't you see, it's a perfect way to have Michael and Jane without having the wife in between stuff. Which I guess means Jane never moved out of the house?
I don't know. She did. It's just that she came here to help because ever since Michael's wife
right, I
died, it's been a
forgot
bit
that
hard.
bit.
It's a bit hard.
Yeah, that's right, I forgot that bit.
She's been helping. She's been helping out.
I have a confession. I don't remember much about this movie aside from the bigger points. Is she supposed to be the same maid from the last movie?
No, I'm pretty sure it's a different one.
It's hard to tell. Like, they do bring back some characters who are notably older, but others are dead.
Remember, Java, even when they have new characters, they still try to...
guys, the house is being repossessed.
Yes, we're going to learn more about this in a moment. That's the thing, Java. Even when they have new characters replacing old ones, they still write the characters exactly like the old ones were to achieve that nostalgia for the first film.
Oh, by the way, remember that line, "Wolves at the door"? Yes, the movie is that unsubtle, but trust me, it's going to become even less subtle later on.
Well, I mean, was the original Mary Poppins the champion of subtlety?
It wasn't a champion of subtlety, but it was subtle enough.
Let me put it like this. It wasn't the champion of subtlety, but it wasn't to the point where they were literally spelling it out for the audience, and that is one thing this movie does, as Pedro can attest to.
It's like for example, she wrote one of the finer points that she had praised about the first one when we watched it was how Mr. Banks's actor was able to convey his emotions really on the face, which is, if I remember correct, what she said in the commentary was it tends to be hard for her to see the finer points in the facial performance, but she was able to with the way they directed it.
The movie put a lot of focus on it.
Not only that, the movie, I never felt like the original Mary Poppins movie was literally spelling out for me the plot, essentially.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was not a Kubrickian movie by any means, but it definitely not talking down to anybody. Anyway, yeah. So there you go.
Hey, just
Jane,
like her mother, except
yes,
instead of
Jane is basically filling the role that her mom had in the first film, basically.
an activist and all that.
Yep.
Also, would you say that since this is about Banks, would you say we're saving Mr. Banks? Wait, is that the
But would you guys be okay for a remake of the original film if it's more accurate to the book?
If it's good.
Yes. If it's good, and yes, if it's good and it's more faithful to the book, sure, why not?
Yeah,
and then you can make sequels off those.
Well, yeah.
Again, it's like with the sequel trilogy where Disney had the perfectly fine expanded universe to take lore from, but they just said, nope, let's can it all and just make our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Look, I can get maybe.
And there you go. See, there you go. Financial troubles, just like in the first movie.
Well,
also, Jova, I'm sure that the Star Wars sequel trilogy would have been better if they had a plan from the get-go. Instead of.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just pointing out one of the problems with it, okay? I can't list it all. That deserves its own commentary. But regardless, though, money troubles will all be put out into the street penniless. Oh, where is the goodwill?
And guess what? Once again, these guys are constantly shooting their cannon every hour. So, Dwebs,
oh boy,
looks
here
like
we go.
Looks like the London police are really slacking off. How come these guys haven't been arrested yet?
It's I guess we have more important things to do. But I think it would be a bit pertinent earlier on to stop these guys firing a cannon at the city.
Okay. I'll admit, this bit is still funny, even in this movie, and I do like the twist that they do put on with the cannon, so fair enough.
Well, it's basically the same joke. It's just that, but yeah, it is. It is just like but yeah, they're trying to say, oh, even their children are still doing it, so I guess this is the family tradition. So they do add to that. Basically, it's apparently, Dwebs, a family tradition for them to shoot this cannon. It seems.
Wait.
So
Family,
the,
wait. Family tradition. I'm pretty sure they implied that that's the same admiral from the original movie, given how
Is
old
it?
he is. Yeah, pretty much. Given how old he is and the fact that he's in a wheelchair and looks that old, like again, they never.
I guess.
And they never implied that the admiral had kids either.
I guess, sure.
So the story was written by Rob Marshall, his partner John DeLuca, and the screenwriter of the movie, David McGee, whose past work includes Finding Neverland, Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, Life of Pi, which was his last film until this one.
That's sad because Life of Pi was great.
And coming up, coming up in the next few years, we've got The Tiger's Apprentice, The School for Good and Evil, Untitled Hans Christian Andersen musical, Children of Blood and Bone, and the upcoming remake of The Little Mermaid, which is also being directed by Rob Marshall.
Wait.
there you go.
Mr. Banks is a banker?
Well, yes, that was a thing in the original movie.
I never saw the original.
Well, hold on. Let me. Hold on. The basic idea is this. Yeah. So basically, just gave them a few pennies and faked, not faked. Sorry, drew a $10 bill. Sorry, a £10 bill for them.
I forget. What's Michael's job?
I guess that Mr. Banks didn't have much of a career choice in life.
That's the thing, Michael. That's the thing, Michael. As you can see, is not exactly managing the household and the family all that well, as you can see.
So, Jover, I can answer your question about what job Mr. Banks is going to have. Shoemaker in prison at this point, forging money.
Okay, Pedro, remind me, what job does Michael have at this point in the movie?
He works in the same bank that his father did.
Oh, so he is still a banker, okay.
Well, you'll see.
I guess the child actors are good.
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay, one thing that is neat about this movie, too, is well, obviously it does balance focus between the adults and the children. For obvious reasons, mind you.
Well, that's what the original kind of did as well. So.
So
this film came out in the United States on my birthday.
Okay.
So Happy birthday, Dwibs.
Okay, you know what? Despite the difference in quality between this and Cruella, this and Cruella pretty much share the same pattern in what's right and what's wrong about the movies. The set design, directing, actors, acting, and the look of the films are good. Again, the problem comes down to, in both cases, the script.
There you go, Dwibs. Now, yeah, Ben Whishaw singing.
Is he a good singer?
Yes. Well, like I said, the actors are not the problem.
Oh, yeah. I guess at least they may remember to get all actors who can sing when need be. That said, though...
I mean, they've learned from James and the Giant Peach, at least.
Wait.
This is another thing where, this is the sad ballad of the movie.
About learning from James and the Giant Peach Strips, I'd argue that songs like this, more exposition-y than,
I meant with the singing.
You mean actually being able to sing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's kind of obvious.
The basic gist of it is that...
Jover, that's the thing, though. It's like Universal didn't watch that movie and cast Pierce Brosnan for Mamma Mia.
Oh, God. Anyway, Pedro, you were saying?
The basic gist of it is that, ever since his wife died, everything went down the shitter.
So, guys, take your bets. Will we actually get to learn what the wife was like, or is the turmoil more just that she's dead?
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be a problem for those. No, it's more so okay. If they did, it was like the focus is not so much on the lost mother, more so in them figuring out how to save themselves more than anything. Like if potentially, so the mom's death is not like the primary focus of the characters, if that helps.
Oh, thank God! We're at least we got it. We can watch a movie this week without having to deal with that.
This song is mostly just here to showcase Michael's issues.
You're still smarting from Crow, aren't you, Dave?
No, Cruella and Kung Fu Panda too, because that was basically.
It's more so about him overcoming his grief rather than the grief itself. Why would Michael throw away the old stuff in the first movie? That just sounds.
Don't you see? It's to show that he's growing up and how he's lost.
Oh, no, it's more
the
like
joy in
he's
his
moving
life.
on from the past.
But
it doesn't let him define
The next movie we're watching have a dead mother.
And now this is where the wind decides to take this kite to summon Mary, because clearly, because apparently this family can't take care of itself ever, so we need to bring Mary to save us.
But anyway,
You know what?
Oh, go on,
Yes, Joy?
Joy.
I'm glad I'm not going to be a mother in this Disney-born Britain.
Yeah, because then you'd probably
Shira,
die.
But that's okay, Shira. Remember, like, if you ever have financial issues, you know who to call. Mary Poppins.
How much of a major role does she play in the books? Like, is she only in the first book and doesn't return?
Well, she's the main character of the books, so obviously.
Okay, I know he didn't write the songs, but is Lin-Manuel Miranda's purpose in this film to basically Phil Collins' way through the movie?
Well, that's the thing, Dwebs. He's basically the Bert of this movie. He's here to serve as the comic relief sort of kind of character, you know? The difference is that whereas Bert was much more silly in behavior, Lin-Manuel's character is more warm and a bit more wiser.
Yay, he got the kite.
Sorry, a bit wiser.
Guess it's a nice day to fly a kite.
Let's go fly.
It's weird. The music sounds like it's a dangerous moment, but he looks like he's supposed to be having fun, so...
Well, I mean, the wind's blowing really heavily and he's struggling, so I think it fits.
Maybe it was a dumb idea to try flying that kite then at that time.
It's more so... Okay, might as well get that. Yeah, there you go, see? Like I said, he's basically new Bert. That's basically it.
Oh no, the kite!
He's even helping him with the just like he did with the kids in the original.
Thank you, Jesus.
And
I
here's
honestly thought he was going to sing, "I'm grabbing the kite."
Somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, sorry,
wrong company. Anyway, yeah. And now
wait,
here's
wait, hold on. Is it the wrong company though? Didn't they make Oz the Great and Powerful?
True, yes. but the original Wizard of Oz 1940s, not 1939 movie is MGM. And look, the best thing about this movie, Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins. Succeeding Julie Andrews is, let's face it, a tough act. But Emily Blunt is fantastic in this role. And in fact, the fact that they write the character more akin to P.L. Travers' original books helps with that. Instead of she's not trying to emulate Juliana's performance. Instead, she's bringing her own spin into the role, which makes her performance work.
It's like how Will Smith managed to succeed as the genie in the Aladdin remake. Granted, he had an easier case in the sense that was a remake as opposed to a sequel. So
in the books, Mary Poppins is a far more strict nanny than she is in the Disney movie.
Borderline mean at points.
Yeah. So while you're not gonna see her go full mean completely, she is definitely a much better balance between the P.L. Travers version and the Disney version. Basically, they try to achieve a balance between both visions of the character.
From what I've heard, Manuel Miranda's British accent is fine. I haven't. So far, he's passing the.
Oh my God, Mary Poppins! You look nothing like we saw you before. How do we recognize you now?
Yeah, she's a bit more snarky in this movie, if I remember right.
She is, yeah.
Plastic surgery.
Like I said, Shiro, this is a bit more faithful to P.L. Travers' original vision.
They should have just gotten that guy from Guardians of the Galaxy to play Mary Poppins.
I'm a big fan of Emily Blunt in this, and even with a mediocre script, she's still wonderful as always.
So, do you think they'd get Emily Blunt for a remake of the original? Just like in the original movie.
Oh no, definitely. Like I said, what makes her performance work is that they're not having her emulate Julie Anderson's performance. That's what makes it work. They're actually putting they're actually bring forth more P.L. Travers elements.
Again.
To make her different.
You know what? That's the frustrating thing about some of these live-action Disney sequels or remakes. Again, they show that they do know part of what they need to do to help these succeed in trying to be original. The problem is, well, the execution more often than not. Like this movie actually has a pretty fantastic Mary Poppins. The problem is the overall story. The Aladdin remake actually got a damn good Jasmine, and Will Smith turned out to be arguably the best thing in that movie as the genie. It's just, well, they got a sucky Aladdin and a sucky Jafar.
Mm-hmm. Well, that
Wait.
and okay, I think here's a big difference between this film and Aladdin. Rob Marshall, musical is his DNA.
Sure.
Guy Ritchie, it's not.
That's the thing, though. I'd argue the songs in Aladdin, and yes, I know what you're about to say. I mean, even the original songs in Aladdin were more memorable than the songs in this movie.
Wait, they don't know she has magic powers?
Yes, she does.
I said they don't know?
They do know.
They do know.
Which kind of makes this conversation confusing. Like, does
Yeah.
Michael really...
I'm just like, wait. Your umbrella talk, don't be ridiculous.
Oh, trust me, Des. We're just as confused as you are. Like, Michael should know that Mary probably wouldn't even charge, like, if she's this all-knowing.
It's because they want to achieve the same effect of when the parents were confused at this point in the first movie, but they can't. But they still want to have it, so it's weird. There you go.
It's the classic case of trying to have your cake and eat it.
All right. Well, the basic concept of Mary Dej is that when all other nannies fail, Mary Poppins comes in and yeah, there you go.
The Canes are very racist, they are.
I'm gonna steal that.
What?
Nothing can mean anything and everything.
I think that was a meme when the movie first came about.
Honestly,
Not surprised.
Honestly, that sounds like something like what
Thanos would say.
No. Well, whatever. I'll.
Okay, Paige, I got something to ask you, and then I'd love to hear your response.
Go on.
Since you said it about another Disney franchise, you know the criticism of this film is that it retreads the first one.
Yes.
The book series also did that.
True. But that's the thing, that maybe you could have picked a different book to adapt instead then.
Also, can you imagine Nanny Thanos?
I am inevitable.
Marvel, get on it. Make a what if episode of that.
I mean,
what
yeah.
if was Mary Poppins?
What if Thanos was Mary Poppins?
Oh my, he would be
Children.
he would probably.
Children, Spano smiling at the children sinisterly. No.
Yes.
It's like,
Okay,
it's
okay.
like, I never taught you to lie. That's why you're so
Okay. One thing I don't care for is that, of course, we gotta go for the bout where some of the kids don't believe the other kid about her being magical. Except for the fact that, well, it's pretty much about to become clear as day that she is magical.
Again, we're basically, and yes, like Dwebs said, to be fair, okay, fine. Okay, let me, I guess I should have phrased it better, Dwebs. When I say that is that they should have picked one of the books that doesn't do that. Because there was...
They all did that.
I will argue against that, but whatever, I'm not here to talk about that.
I mean, musically,
Nothing.
okay. I'll just say, musically, Mark Simon does a good job replicating the sound of the
Sherman Brothers score.
Yes, he definitely does. It's just that the songs aren't
It's the lyrics.
memorable.
It's the lyrics that are the problem, yeah.
I think
And
it's
don't get me wrong, Emily Blunt is wonderful, as always. So the actors are not the problem.
I do think it is definitely about of the songs being made more to carry stuff through the plot than it is for them to be memorable. And, that's not automatically bad.
okay, hold on.
And she drowned.
I'm going to go save my brothers.
Again.
And boom, here we go.
We're in
Into
the
the bathtub.
ocean.
Oh my god, we're going to bedknobs and broomsticks?
Man, I haven't been in England in years. Has it gotten this crazy now?
Yes, why not?
Oh my
Giant
god.
rubber ducky.
Oh god, I didn't know we were getting to Batman Returns.
So yeah, this is basically pretty much like the...
she's wearing Donald Duck's outfit.
How cute. So this is pretty much like also there was also an underwater, basically there was also an underwater type sequence in the first movie, so.
If only Pirates of the Caribbean remained that simple.
Keep off the seagrass.
Wow, even seagrass is off limits.
It's nice, and hey, this could be a good preview for what Little Mermaid live action will turn out to be like, but I really am probably not even going to remember the lyrics of this song.
It's mostly because, see, here's the thing with the songs. The songs musically, like, the instrumentation is fine. It's just that the songs, aside from being bland, don't do much in terms of furthering the story as much as the Sherman Brothers did. Because, let's say, for example, all the songs in the original, even Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even that song, at the very least, expanded the cartoon world of that movie. As a result of it, whereas this just feels like we're just having fun and that's it, which would be fine, but at the same time the characters outside of Mary right now are just, these kids are not interesting. I guess that's the best way I can put it.
I think I would put it more like in a sense where, well, essentially, again, it's not even like just about progressing the plot or whatnot, because you could argue a lot of the songs in the original didn't necessarily further the plot. It's just a case in that the songs aren't bad, it's just that they feel like they're made specifically just for each moment in the plot.
Let me put it this way, it's like styrofoam. Okay. I have a better example. These songs are like eating a piece of bread by itself. I mean, eating that piece of bread is not going to hurt me. It's just a piece of bread. But at the same time, I kind of wish I had something to go along with that piece of bread. You know?
Yeah, because like a piece of bread is good, but it's just bread. Where's the meat? Where's the lettuce, the ketchup?
I mean,
Exactly.
Mustard, pickles, onions.
It really is hard for
Not
me
black
to.
olives.
It really is hard for me to describe because the songs do sound nice to listen to in the moment, but I just really can't remember them as soon as they're
allow me,
done.
Jova. We actually here in Portugal we have a term for that. It's a song that comes out from one and enters one ear and leaves from your head from the other. It's right there. It just enters from your right ear and then immediately leaves for the left one. There you go.
Really? Really? You had them shut up even though they were telling you stuff that you know. Okay, to be fair, he does try to apologize.
Again, they're trying to replicate the whole stern father dynamic from the first movie, but it doesn't make much sense for Michael to be that type of character.
Oh,
you can argue that they're trying to do the whole he's becoming his father type of thing, but I don't know.
Oh, but don't you see he's lost something very important?
His wife, and this new girl, that's supposed to be his new wife?
No. That's his sister.
Oh,
God, no, Dej. No.
I mean,
we've already
the time period.
Let me put it this way,
no.
Not really, Dej. Let me put it this way, Dej. Those two, they're the kids from the first movie. There you go.
Okay.
But don't you see? Okay, so the best way to describe the script of this movie? It's a movie that definitely wants to play to all ages, but there are parts where you can tell they're kind of dumbing it down for the little ones, in the sense like, well, Michael's saying he's lost something very important that the kids will need to apparently help find, when in reality it's kind of like a business document that he needs to find. And, okay, you know what? I can sort of appreciate the effort, you know? They want to help kids understand some of the bigger things in life, like the finances and whatnot, so fair enough. That said,
I guess it's not like the Little Prince movie, which is a sequel to the book, but it actually expands upon the ideas. This one just feels more like they put their foot forward and didn't want to go all the way from it.
Let me put it like this: one step forward, well, maybe not 2 steps back, but 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It
was also the fact that Mark Osborne had a much better idea of what he wanted to do with that film.
Oh, what happened with him?
No, I'm talking about Mark Osborne, the director of the Little Prince movie, like Dejimon.
Oh, okay. For a moment, it seemed like you're implying that he was originally involved in a sequel.
No. Mark Osborne was the director of Kung Fu Panda 1, and then he left America to make the Little Prince movie in France. Because that was his big passion project.
Jolly good day, Mr. Banks.
Yes. Miss Penny farting. That sounds dangerously close to farting. Hello, Miss Farting. How are you?
Hey, Colin Firth.
Can you, like seriously?
Wait. Oh my God, Dwibs.
Yeah.
Another bout of Kingsman.
Yeah.
First it was Merlin and Cruella, and now...
Yeah. From the start, this is the film that started Disney slowly integrating the Kingsmen into their other films.
It's okay. Shirley, is farting?
Wait. Actually, no. John Carter came out before Kingsman. Never mind.
True.
Okay, this bit is slightly important.
Sure. There you go.
Yep, this is the nephew of Dawes Jr., the son of, well, the original head of the bank from the original movie.
And yes, that's the character being played by Dick Van Dyke in this movie. We'll see him later.
What's this? So in typical Disney fashion, there is in fact a time limit that will be incited by the bonging of a clock.
At midnight.
Which I'm sure could lead to no loopholes or anything.
Hold on, Joe. Now wait till they leave.
Wait for
Check
it.
this out. Check this out.
Is he gonna burn them?
Wait for it.
Is he gonna hypnotize himself?
No, hold on.
Wow. They really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
You-
you see what I
So-
mean about this movie just being a little too unsubtle?
Not
Like,
just that, like this guy is literally just a cartoony villain. I don't even remember if they even give him motivation for being this much of a douche.
No,
But-
sorry, not Dwebs, Pedro. He's like that one Leighton villain who, as soon as you leave the room, starts laughing maniacally out loud.
Yeah, and allow me to remind everybody that villain was a ruse. The real villain was revealed later. But that's it, you right. That's our villain.
But believe it or not, guys, the movie doesn't expect you to know that yet. No, I'm not
What?
kidding. The
They
movie.
just showed us it, though.
That's the thing. There's gonna be a later scene where they literally point out he's the bad guy, as if we didn't know already.
Okay, but it's obvious to us, the audience, but not. Is it one of those? Yeah. We, the audience, know who the bad guy is.
No,
but
Dead
the
says,
characters themselves don't.
No, Dad. I'm not talking about a case where the characters themselves say it. I mean a case where the movie reminds you that he's the bad guy and treats it like that's a big surprise.
Let's just wait and see. We can talk about it when we get to it. Okay, Dwebs and Shirite. Is Farthing a common last name in the good old jolly UK?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Because to be perfectly honest, I will argue like any kid in school who's named Farthing, it's totally gonna get made fun of. Like, hey, Farthing, how are you doing? Or something along those lines. Like that's just making it. You're just being cruel parents.
guess
But Dwebs, why?
You asked for it.
Wait! I didn't catch that. Could you repeat?
Look at the chat.
Oh,
Pedro.
that. Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Post it on Twitter, and I'll retweet it so
Okay.
it can blow up.
Okay.
Basically, audience pick Thanos as Mary Poppins with the outfit and everything. There you go.
Okay.
Well, maybe this should be the thumbnail for the movie.
Yeah.
You know what? Sure, why not? I will personally make this the thumbnail. That's not though, Dibs. Where did you make this?
I cobbled together some images from online and used Pixlr, a free online app that lets you edit pictures.
Huh. Does Pixlr do the same
Hold on.
capabilities as Photoshop?
Hold on.
Sort of, yeah.
So yeah,
Basically,
they're still looking for the bank certificate thingy.
yeah, granted they don't know that that's what they're looking for, but... But how to fix it?
Yeah, there you go. See, as you can see, Vibs, yeah, he's basically Bert 2.0.
I guess
He
Brooke
has the
died.
exact same. He has the exact same banter. He has the exact same type of. He has the exact same role, basically, and he's even dressed like Bert.
Okay, guys, here we go.
So yeah, this is a reference to that bit in the first movie where we jump into the drawings in the floor in the street. or graffiti if you prefer. And of course, it turns into a cartoony world.
Oh my god, we're being abducted! But yes, this is essentially akin to, well, probably one of the few parts you remembered from the movie as a kid. The animated section.
Yep.
I'll just say this. I love how
Look at that, Dibs. He even has the same outfit Bert had in the animated sequence of the first movie. See? He's
Is
literally
that the
Bert.
same outfit Bert had? I feel like...
Well, it's very similar.
I feel like Bert...
Is he Bert's son or something?
Okay.
No.
I feel like Bert had a striped suit in the original, actually.
Oh, he definitely had a top hat. I mean, maybe the colors weren't the same, but it was very similar.
Of course he's called Seamus.
Funny story. There's a popular wrestler in WWE who is Irish, also called
He
Sheamus.
plays Rocksteady in the second Michael Bay TMNT movie.
What,
Oh.
Sheamus?
And look at that, there's a crack.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that, there's a crack where, obviously stuff would be. And I'll admit, the integration of the animated stuff with the stuff that they interact with is pretty clever.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like, technology has evolved a lot since 1965, so obviously...
Yeah, this is 2018. Dalton.
No.
I know, we just talked. These songs are like bloody Phil Collins.
Again, you had Mr. Miranda here. You could have asked him, hey, Lynn, want to write the songs as well while you're at it?
Was he too busy?
I don't know.
Like, it's flipping Alexander Hamilton there.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like Alexander Hamilton's a big deal. Oh, wait, no, it was such a big deal that Disney themselves wanted it on their streaming service.
Yeah, and my brother's girlfriend will not stop playing that sound for every time we're on the call.
Veggie, have you ever seen Hamilton?
No.
Hamilton's an
watch
amazing
it.
musical.
I will. I honestly, she kind of killed all interest for me for watching it.
Okay, I'll just say this. They do what I wish they would do with musicals more often. Save a recording of the original Broadway cast so that people can see that stuff.
Yeah. You know how expensive Broadway is?
And not only that, it's
a
not
lot of money.
Not only that,
Yeah,
sometimes
I mean-
it's not possible. Like, poor Shiroi missed out on Avenue Q because that never came to her country.
No, I saw Avenue
I
Q.
mean, hey,
never mind.
you know what?
That's Pedro.
I don't go to theaters very often, but one of my biggest music, theater misses.
What?
Mhm.
I would have really loved to have seen Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Oh, well,
And I
okay.
would've-
There
yeah,
are
same.
some YouTube recordings of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I also would have loved to see Avenue Q, like Jova said, and as well as the Book of Mormon as well.
Like, okay,
A lot of the
there
time. Go ahead.
is a YouTube recording of Avenue Q's original Broadway show, but again, it's just... Imagine how cool it would have to be a high-definition, clear video of it.
The thing is, like, theater loves money, and they're sitting on a gold mine because there are they're always talking about getting young people into theater, and it's like, release DVDs or Blu-rays of your recordings. You are sitting again on a gold mine.
I mean, they
Wait,
guys.
hold
did
on.
that with Cats.
Okay, so guys,
Yeah, I had the VHS for Cats.
So guys, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we may have a bad guy in this animated sequence.
Nah, you think?
And wouldn't you know, it happens to be a wolf. Oh, but wasn't it mentioned that wolves were at the door at the start of the movie?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so there you go. Time for another performance, I guess.
Why are you waving goodbye? I'm not leaving yet. The film's not over.
Hey, look, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda in his natural element, the theater.
Yep.
Does he do a British accent in Hamilton, or am I missing something?
No.
For the record, he was also a guest actor for a few episodes of the sixth season of Doctor House. He was also great there.
Wow, he really is.
Which demonstrates that he's also a very capable dramatic actor. Remember him, was in the sixth season?
Yeah.
Hey, it's the Penguins!
I do have to go to London for the theatre a lot, though, because no, a lot of them don't end up in Wales, and if they do, it's not for like years after.
Me personally, I'm at least glad that that Stoke has the Regent Theatre. So that's how I saw Woman in Black.
And I was blessed when the Lion King Broadway show came to Rochester.
Okay. Here's another problem with that I have with the lyrics, by the way, like the complete lack of creativity. I know that the Sherman brothers were geniuses, so obviously they're a tough fact to follow. But again, there are great songwriters like a certain person that happens to be around here that could get and these lyrics are just not cutting the mustard. The first movie songs were so amazing, and like Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious being, of course, the pinnacle of creativity. In my opinion, the Sherman Brothers' highest work.
It's like I said, it's not even like they're bad. Like, okay, look.
No, they're not bad. They're just bread. They're bread, like I said earlier.
Like, okay. Let me put it this. They do provide substance, but that's just it. Substance, and it's in its most basic form. So yeah, I guess it is like bread in the case where, it fulfills a necessity, but it doesn't leave you
Necessities.
Like I said, it's like
it doesn't
eating
leave
bread
you,
on its own.
It doesn't leave you coming back for more.
Eating bread on its own gets the job done. It gets you fed, but it's not all that tasty, and so...
It's such a weird case, too, because, again, these songs feel like they should be good. Like, the production value is there, and I feel like there is some bout of creativity with the songs. It's just... they just don't leave me coming back to them. Trust me, it's a baffling case, really. It is. Like, normally when it comes to songs, it's like, it's an easy case of either I like them or I don't like them. This isn't a case where I feel like I should like them, but... there's just something holding them back every time.
Emily and Lynn are, of course, trying their freaking hardest to sell this.
Yeah. Again, it's freaking Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Like, for all intents and purposes, this should be a slam dunk.
Oh, about the box office for this movie.
Okay,
I'm not talking about the box office itself. I'm talking about how it did in different countries. What TV tropes are called Germans of David Hasselhoff. The given the setting and the actors in it, the country where the film was the most successful outside the USA is right here in the UK, whereby a few dozen £1 million it outgrossed Aquaman.
Even though Aquaman ended up kicking this movie's ass at the box office overall.
Yeah, which is funny, but did Aquaman also have a Mary Poppins actor in it?
It had flipping Julie Andrews in it.
Yeah.
You know, Mary Poppins herself. I'll just say this. I like to imagine that Julie Andrews took a look at the script and said, you know what? I'd prefer playing a giant kaiju. Yes, I know that's not what actually happened. I'm just saying it's funny to imagine it being like that. Because, yes, we have Mary Poppins as a giant water kaiju, but not, for the actual Mary Poppins movie.
Oh, trust me, Joe, but for as much as I love Julie Andrews, even her is not above being in bad movies. She's been in bad movies before.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That said, though, it's just about a...
The song is still going, by the way.
I would have imagined Julie Andrews being
Yeah, I'm
playing a giant octopus creature.
Yeah,
I'm pretty-
still go.
No,
I
no,
beat
no,
a
it
beat
wasn't
and
an
you're still
octopus.
singing. Like, what the hell?
I'm sorry.
I'm
you,
pretty
you're
sure
saying,
this
Troy?
is the one song that me and Alice remembered for a while after watching it because it's so
Because it
repetitive.
lasted the longest.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Well, I guess maybe it's because they know, hey, it's the 2D animated sequence. We gotta stretch it out for as much as it's worth.
Have you and Alice seen the original on Disney Plus as well?
I've seen the original movie several times actually.
Ever since
I
showed it
don't
to
know
you
about
in the
Alice
commentary.
actually.
Well, remember, I showed you for the first time since you were a
No,
kid back
I
in the
grew
day.
up with this movie, so
Yeah.
That's what I'm not sure. That's not what you told me when
No,
we did
no,
the
no, no, no,
commentary.
no, Pedro. She literally mentioned that as a kid she wasn't as fond of it, but she was more fond of it after our rewatching of it. So yeah, she did grow up with it.
Oh, okay.
Oh
So how many
no!
times have you
Where's
watched this as a kid?
Georgie?
I watched it a lot when I was younger. Didn't for
Yeah.
years.
You
So-
know,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
you know.
My
if you
mother
did-
really liked this movie though. That's why, because I said
You
I
know,
wasn't fond of it,
guys.
but yeah, my mother was.
You know, guys, if you hadn't spent all that time singing a song, you might have noticed this happen.
Basically, it turns out the wolf is stealing stuff. Their things. Their things. They're stealing their things. Subtly.
Let me guess. Okay, I got two guesses. Either it's a metaphor for how they feel about the bank, or the bank in their version of the real world is legitimately stealing their own stuff just so they can bankrupt the house out of spite or something.
That would be the former.
An amazing deduction, Dwibs, if you know it kind of wasn't already spelled out for us by the guy ripping up the page.
What the second one?
Again, Dwibs, it was kind of spelled out for us before with the guy ripping the page. Also the fact that the wolf...
So unless this film ends with that bank being completely shut down...
You'll see what happens.
And like I said, and one of the big problems as well is that the kids are not interesting. They're just generic kid characters. Whereas the kid characters were by no means amazing in the first movie, where I will argue they gave him more stuff to do and more stuff going on. For example, there was the whole thing with Michael's thing with his father. Yes, Joe.
I have a question. Did we really need an action sequence in the 2D animated sequence?
Yes. How else are we supposed to have 2D animation be taken seriously again?
Whee!
Yeah, answer that. I win.
Wait, what? What?
I said, how else are we going to have 2D animation be taken seriously again if we don't have action in it?
You could always have subtle commentary and just have fantastic flowing animation that helps fuel the story.
No, we gotta appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Look. I'm not even gonna act like this is
Ah,
terrible or anything. It's just that it feels weird that of all things, the 2D animated sequence needed to have an action sequence with bad guys and everything. Like, it's kind of
The
different.
first movie didn't do this kind of thing. That's why Joe was saying it, Deji, because that whole thing about the whole subtlety thing that you were just well, that's what the original film did. That the original film didn't have any kind of pointless generic action sequence or anything.
Also, remember that the wolf also had a pocket watch, just like Converse character.
Yep.
Remember that for later. And look, I'm not even gonna act like this is inherently a bad thing. It's just that, again, it goes into my issue about how the movie is so unsubtle that it feels like it's smacking you with an anvil.
Yeah, a cartoon anvil.
It's more so the fact that none of the characters involved are really all that interesting, so it's kind of hard to even care. I mean, the wolf is just a cartoony bad guy, and the kids are just
Kids.
I wish it was just that, but again, the wolf is supposed to be a clue for them later on. But we'll get to that later.
And the kids are dead.
You know, by this point in the first movie, the animated sequence would have been over.
Well, now it's over. There you go, Pedro. By this point in the original, it was over, and now when the exact same point as in the original, it's over here.
I guess.
You got what you wanted.
It definitely felt longer, though.
Why are we doing this? Like, okay, I get why she did it in the original, but we know that it's magical.
I remember, Joe, but it's all the way back to the books. She does this in the books as well. She always pretends nothing happened.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the thing.
Seamus the dog. Seamus the dog was voiced by Chris O'Dowd, who the following
IT
year-
department. Well,
the
IT
IT
crowd.
Funny story. He was supposed to voice Tigger in the Christopher Robin movie, but test audiences reacted so badly to his performance, he just got Jim Cummings back.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Probably
And
no offense to him, as like you can't just replace Jim Cummings.
Not just that, like who exactly thought it was a good idea to replace Jim Cummings in the first place?
Mark
Disney.
Forster.
Ugh.
He was the director.
Anyway, but okay, look. I get that in the book and in the original movie she pretended that stuff was, not real. However, circumstances are different in this movie. Like, they could lose their house over this, and that's the thing. Technically, that thing is meant to be a clue, but she's trying to convince them that it wasn't real. And Mary, you do want to help them, right? Like, okay, look, in the original, it made sense. It was mainly about teaching the children discipline. Here, the kids are fine already. It's not like she needs to teach them some lesson or something. Like,
No, but she wants to teach them to figure it out on their own.
Lady, we could be put out on the street. Lessons...
Yeah, that sounds like a you problem.
Why did you even bother coming back if you weren't going to help us?
Because I like your company.
You're that lonely up in the clouds, aren't you?
Yeah, yes I am.
Get some friends your own age.
Find a date that won't age like you.
And can we just have a Mary Poppins movie where she takes care of other kids that are not the Banks?
Wasn't that kind of what the books did?
This family's a mess.
Well, it varies. It depends on which book you're reading, but
Okay.
Whatever.
Describe the sequels to me. Did she also return to the Banks' house in the
yes,
books?
at one point, yes, there is one book where. Keep in mind, I haven't read all the books, but I have read a few. There is one book where she does indeed return. It's not quite as blatantly of a rehash as in this movie, though. But again, that would take a lot of time to explain.
What was the dilemma in that story compared to this?
Well, hold on. Actually, you guys, but this is basically the
time to go to sleep song, yeah.
Yeah, this is basically the bird song equivalent, which trying to succeed to the best song in the movie in the original film is kind of a bit.
Wait, this is supposed to be the one? I thought this was the equivalent to the Stay Awake song.
Well, that's not what the bird song was, but yeah.
I'm
Because
referring-
when you dream, you find all that's lost. Yeah, they're kind of trying to achieve the
Again,
thump in the bag effect.
Again, I'm referring to the Stay Awake song where, the song that goes, Stay Awake. You don't remember that one?
Wait, I think you're confusing. There wasn't a song called "Stay Awake" in the original film.
There was. She sings it to them when they're trying to stay awake because they insist on staying awake. And mind you, that was after they got out of the chalk drawing too.
Yeah, the one she sings them to sleep, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Well, hold on, let me
That's-
get it.
Yeah, I'm
Not the-
on YouTube. It says "Stay Awake," Mary Poppins soundtrack.
Is that what the name is?
Yeah, I know my Mary Poppins stuff well.
Whatever.
Interesting.
That's the thing. I always named it something else.
Okay,
It's just-
okay. Stay Awake is a different song from Feed the Birds. If that's what you're wondering.
But that's exactly that's what I was saying. This kind of feels like they're doing the Feed the Birds thing.
I feel like it's more like they're doing the Stay Awake thing because, like Stay Awake, this is also the song that occurs after they're in the 2D animation.
Oh, there you go, Deji. Well, there you go, Deji. It's me and Joe were thinking of different songs. That's the problem.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said.
I thought that he was calling "Feed the Birds" "Stay Awake." That's what.
Oh,
confused
no.
me.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. It's like, what was the last time you saw the original movie?
When did we
me
do our
per-
commentary
Well,
on it?
I haven't seen it in a while, if that's what you're asking. But no,
Yeah,
I've-
so I mean, some details do get mixed up, so it's okay.
Oh, but look at this, guys. No, duh, it wasn't a dream after all. Okay, look, I get that the kids are just finding this out now, but shouldn't the fact that, Oh, and they're pretty much spelling it out that she already knows, which really just begs the question, why the secrecy in this point? Again, maybe for the sake of the books, I'm going to assume that the stakes weren't as high. But here, the stakes are pretty high. They could be put out onto the street again. Like, lessons be
Yeah,
damned.
that sounds like a their problem. No problem. She can't solve all their issues.
They weren't even asking her to solve all her issues, even.
Exactly. So they're the ones that are supposed to figure it out, not her.
It just begs the question. Well, that's the thing, though. If she didn't plan to help, why did she even come back?
She misses them.
That seems to be about it, really.
And that's probably the biggest problem with the sequel. Granted, Mary will play a part in things to come later, but as far as we know, she's not really doing much to help the overall plot, rather than just, I guess, looking after the kids
Why
because
does this
Michael and
actress
Jane
look
are
so
having trouble.
familiar? Was she in Paddington?
You mean Emily Mortimer?
The blonde hair.
Yeah, Emily Mortimer. I think she was.
Oh my god, just like Cruella, two actresses share the same first name. It was Emma and Emma, now it's Emily and Emily.
Emily Blunt and Emily Mortimer, yeah.
Oh, are we possibly shipping them? Oh my. I do believe that love is in the air. Beep beep.
What have I missed?
Not much.
Nothing.
A song.
Huh.
Oh no, he forgot his briefcase. Everything's working out rather well.
See, here's the thing. Okay, hold on.
Oh!
A bit rude. So yeah, David Warner firing a cannon. Yes, that's David Warner playing the cannon fire right now.
Oh right, yes. Different actors from the previous one. But
Yeah.
still the same characters, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Star Trek 6.
Good for him.
And 5, but whatever.
Good for
And look at that.
him.
And look at that. Mary's wearing her red outfit
I like
and
that.
blue hat from. Remember the first movie? Yeah. Ooh, I wonder what we're going to emulate next.
Down a door.
No, I guess you. Like, the only thing I know her from is Cars 2. Wow,
Jova.
Yes.
The most recent thing David Warner was in was a 2020 episode of Teen Titans Go.
Well, there you go.
Ha, there
Uh-huh.
you go. There was
Yes.
an episode called Hog Bees, and he played a guy named The Lobe.
Eh.
Topsy.
Cousin
Topsy.
Topsy. Yeah.
So, does he have another cousin named Turvy?
Yes.
Why not? All right, you might remember Uncle Albert, played by the legendary Ed Wynn, who of course had a problem where he couldn't stop laughing, and every time he laughed, he started flying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time we're gonna meet Cousin Topsy. Yeah, you're starting to see what I mean. We're literally going through the motion. We're literally basically rehashing every scene. We're literally going through a checklist of scenes.
I thought we were further into the movie than this, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're
Halfway through.
We're slightly past the halfway point, yeah. Okay, look. Trying to repeat beats from the original movie is not necessarily always a bad idea. But I feel like you need to be much clever about this sort of thing if that's pretty much what you're doing. Like, maybe their idea was, hey, for like the first sequel in decades, we could try something a little different. Well, okay, a little similar, but just to get people back into the saddle. Then we go more topsy-turvy, no pun intended, with later movies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen this actress from somewhere. Pedro, who's playing her?
I'll check.
I forgot who's playing this character. Here. Allow me to add to Jova's argument by describing what happens in one of the books. Like we've said, there's some like we've said, very often.
Meryl Streep.
Oh,
Wait, that's Meryl?
whoa!
Yeah.
Quite
Oh,
a lot of
right,
makeup.
Quite a lot of makeup on her. I forgot that it was her doing this.
Anyway, continue, Pedro.
I get so numb by this movie that I a lot of times I kind of look away. Sorry. Where was I? Oh yeah. Here to add to what Joe was saying. Here's an example of how that you could like one of the books where she returns to the banks is this one, right here. Basically, in the second book called Mary Poppins Comes Back. One of the things that happens is there's a chapter called A New One where a girl, Annabelle, is born to the Banks. Yeah, a new child is born into the Banks family. And remember, this is way before the time skip that they do in this movie. This is still where Mr. and Mrs. Bankhurst are alive and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it deals. So basically, one of the big things is that Michael and Jane have to get used to having a new baby sis and all that shit. All that stuff. So as a result, even though the basic premise is Mary comes back to the Banks household, there's different dilemmas going on. In this case, the birth of a new baby into the family, But this sequel, on the other hand, this sequel is not really trying to do something akin to what that book and by extension what Joe was saying. No, it's just repeating the same beats of the original film.
Like, okay. There have been a lot of problems pointed out with it nowadays, but I will give Star Wars The Force Awakens credit. Despite the fact that that movie was retreading a lot of ground from A New Hope, it managed to put enough of a spin on things that, a lot of people could go, okay, it's our first movie in a while, so we're getting back into the saddle. Granted, the sequel's after it really screwed the pooch, but regardless, for the time being, more often than not, people loved the heck out of Force Awakens because, while treading over familiar ground, it put enough of a spin on said pattern that, well, it was a new enough adventure for people. This feels like if Force Awakens went the extra step and just, made it more or less the same with slight swaps in here and there.
Not to mention, I love you, Meryl. But the big problem is that, this particular iteration isn't even near as creative and charming as Ed Wynn's song.
Again, it's about
it's
the
not
lyrics.
Meryl's the problem. Again, it's not Meryl's problem. The problem is what she's been given.
Let me put it like this: Cruella is without a doubt the worst film, but this movie can be considered just as much a chore, if only because it's a musical. And if the songs are just, bread, essentially, while not necessarily, say, a bad musical like something like Mamma Mia, it feels like a bout of, just a time waster more than anything.
Here, let me experiment. Hey, Shira, here's a sandwich. It's a sandwich of just nothing. It's just the bread itself.
It'll
it's not
feed
gonna
you.
It's not going to kill you, and technically it will get the job done and feed you. It works. What about putting anything in it, right?
I mean, Okay, no, I'm being pedantic. I get your point.
And you know what? I kind of feel.
Okay, all right, fine. What do you want me to put on the sandwich?
Well, no. See, the thing is, I do eat a lot of bread, but you know the kind of bread that has a lot of stuff baked into it.
Nice.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about just bread on its own. Just bread on its own. You know
No, unless if it's white bread, no.
How dare you?
How about this? Have you ever eaten a hot dog?
Yeah.
Okay. You know those? I don't know if you guys have it over there. You know those specific types of bread that get sold in supermarkets that are made specifically for hot dog purposes.
Yeah, we have
dog
those.
bun?
Yeah. Imagine if I just buy those, but I don't put the actual hot dog in it. There you go. Here's just the bread.
Those are so dry, though.
Exactly. That's exactly. There you go. That's the problem with these songs. Very good, Shira. Now you understand.
Ha! Get it? He knocked on wood, like the lyrics said.
I like to laugh. Ha 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 ha. That's the thing. And for the record, when I first saw this movie, I saw it with my mom because remember, it was my mom that introduced the original film to me. We both share a huge love for that movie. So obviously, when it came to watching this for the first time, I watched it with my mom because, well, for old time's sake and everything. And keep in mind, my mom, unlike me, doesn't know anything about storytelling or quality in general in media, so she tends to be very forgiving in comparison to someone like us. By the time we finished watching this, I asked her what she thought, and she was like, "Yeah, it's okay." That's all she could say. Yeah, it's okay. So even this movie didn't really make any impression on her either. Not at all.
I don't know if my mother's seen this movie, but she's kind of the same, and she really enjoyed Cruella. So.
Oh.
That's okay. Don't worry, Shira. Remember, my mom is a huge fan of both Last of Us games, so don't worry. I know the feeling.
Meanwhile, my mom, for the most part, has maintained good standards. She more or less can tell a stinker when she sees one, and I'm proud of her for that.
Aren't you lucky?
My mom just doesn't care about movies.
Look. My mom got me a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, so I think I...
Aren't you lucky?
Yeah, aren't you lucky?
I'll just say this.
Oh, look at me. My mom got me video game.
No, that's not a video game. The video game system.
Yeah. Wow.
It was my dad that got me the video games for it.
All right. Let's.
Alice has bought me 2 consoles.
Okay. Okay, guys. So we just. So we just rehashed the "I Can Fly" song. Jova, what's the next bit from the first movie that we can redo?
The bank song.
Well, let's see.
Ooh, it's hot.
I mean, I assume since we're going to the bank, obviously we'd repeat the bank song. But then again, Mary didn't go with them to the bank originally.
True.
I know it's probably too early, but
Remember,
I think Shearer won the picks.
Jova, you're forgetting something. Remember, what's like the most visually iconic moment of the first movie?
Well, the 2D animated sequence, surely.
Well, okay, the second.
Her flying on her umbrella.
Stepping time, I guess.
Okay, fine. Those are all good points. What's the other iconic visual moment from the first movie aside from those?
The ending
the chimney sweep song.
That's what I said. Stepping time.
I was gonna say.
Right.
I was gonna say.
Sorry.
I try his accents.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I must have misunderstood you there.
Oh yeah. Stepping time is the chimney sweep song.
Sure.
Also, what did you say, Deji?
I can't believe that Shearer picked the best movie out of the bunch this week.
See, here's the thing.
Well, okay.
Here's the thing.
It's not like James and the Giant Peach was terrible.
But Kung Fu Panda 2 is still better.
Yeah.
Oh
exactly.
yeah. Without a doubt.
See, the thing is, Jova, when I think about that song, then I just first Chim Chim Churi. So.
Oh!
Remember,
Wait.
When I was younger, him singing that song, for some reason I thought he was singing about Jiminy Cricket, and I'm like, why
Wait,
am I
wait.
thinking about him?
Okay, Pedro, when you say the chimney sweep song, do you mean the one that Bert sings before they go up on the roof, or the song that's sung when all the chimney sweeps are dancing on the roof,
Yeah,
which then
Chim
leads
Chim
into the
Tree.
house?
Yeah, Chim Chim Tree.
Okay, that chimney sweep song, okay.
But yeah, we're in the bank still, though. Yeah, like Joe said.
These
Mary,
kids
what
love
you
to
doing?
sneak off a lot.
That's the thing, Joe. That's the thing, Deji. This is kind of Mary's thing. She subtly nods the children into the right direction and leads them to their own devices.
Oh boy, here we come. How charming.
Come on, Colin, put the cigar in your mouth. Don't you know that's how cliche, that's how cartoony villains work?
Oh, come on, we don't want to be too unsubtle, even though we're literally stating it again for the audience.
Hold on.
We have to make him as unsympathetic as possible so that you all hate him.
Again, what evil, inconsiderate parents will name their child Farfang? That's
Well-
just asking for the kid to get bullied.
Well,
I mean,
according
that's
to
his last name, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's his
Hey,
last name.
like seriously, I can just imagine kids in the playground. Hey, farting. How are you
Oh,
doing? How
wait.
doing a lot of farting
Wait,
today.
hold on, guys, watch. It's the wolf. He has a pocket watch like the wolf.
Okay, allow me. Be surprised. No. I told you, be surprised. Be surprised then, but be surprised. We tried really hard to surprise you with this.
You fool! Stop
You know,
them.
I thought for a second there, I thought he was going to fire the secretary for stopping giving chase.
Miss Farting, get onto it. I'm sorry, but I'm just calling her Farting because it's just too rich.
I mean, from what Dwib says, it's a
Man,
call.
Pedro has a lot of gas stored up, huh?
You're hilarious.
To be fair, from what Dwib's mentioned, it's apparently a common last name over across the pond.
I get that. It's just that, it's just asking for it,
Well,
Because kids are mean and they take advantage of stuff like this,
I'm guessing it's so much of a common name round here that it's not even really worth it.
I guess, sure.
Wait. So what was the point of him chasing after them?
Oh, hold on.
How nice of him.
Okay, I'll give Colin Firth credit. It's like, you know what he reminds me of on
Who?
occasion?
A Bond villain?
No,
A 1960s Bond villain.
Hold on, let Dwib finish.
Go on.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of when Tom Hanks played douchebag Woody on Black Friday. Or was it Black Friday?
Yeah,
Yes,
the Black Friday pitch.
Yeah, Black Friday. Because I mean, Colin Firth is great at playing a douchebag, and Tom Hanks is also great at playing a douchebag.
Okay, so here's a problem with this movie. The original movie went to great lengths to establish that there was never really a bad guy, essentially.
Yep.
And most of it was about the kids and adults not seeing eye to eye. Heck, even the douchebag banker guy was, he had more layers to him than just being the bad guy. Here, they literally give us a downright Disney villain, and what's worse is it's not like the kids have to learn anything, because they were telling the truth to their father. It's just that the father doesn't believe them. gee, it's almost like there's somebody who could vouch for them but isn't doing anything except, just standing around looking pretty. Oh, wait, right, Mary, what is your point in this movie?
That's the big problem. The first movie had a clear idea. The kids need to learn discipline, and Mary teaches them about that, as well as the Mr. Banks having to learn that raising kids is more than just discipline. So basically, it's a balance of between the two sides. In this movie, the kids don't really need to learn anything. Bert is, well, not Bert, but Bert 2.0 here is just, again, kind of here. He's not, don't get me wrong, I love him, but the writing doesn't really give him much to work with.
He's literally just there to lead us into the songs that I guess help teach a lesson. But again, it's not like the kids were even misbehaving, and they were telling the truth about Colin Firth trying to steal their father's money. Like,
the only one that really has a character arc is Michael, but the movie doesn't really focus on him enough to really make that the driving heart of the movie. Not really.
So make of that what you will. The characters who really don't have an arc are the characters we focus on, whereas the only character that does have an arc is the character we don't focus on as much. And again, the character who should, be doing more stuff is the character who's arguably done the least. Yeah,
I of the Mr. Banks in the first movie was the one that had the best of the character arcs.
Yes, let me put it like this.
The lyrics aren't exactly inspired, if I'm honest. I mean,
no, they're not.
Again, that's the thing. You've got a talented lyricist here. I don't know whether he was busy to write the lyrics or not himself.
Okay.
But hearing Lin-Manuel Miranda singing a song that he didn't make, and the song not being all that good in the first place is
basically, like Pedro mentioned. Okay, so here's the thing. Instead of being a chimney sweep like Bert, this character, God, I can't even remember the character.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Joe. Just like with Bert, he has multiple jobs. Every time you see him, he has a different job. That's
okay, to be fair, his consistent job that we've seen is that he's a lamplighter.
True.
Just like how Bert's main duty was that of a chimney sweep, essentially. If I recall correctly, we were even going to get an equivalent to Stepping Time where we see all his lamplighter friends dancing about.
Okay, guys, I got you. If we squint really hard with our eyes and do a lot of mescaline, we can pretend that we're watching Hamilton. I know we'll die of blood toxics and 5 seconds later, but
I think this may be the equivalent to Stepping Time.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Except it's not as fun as Stepping Time.
Yeah, Stepping Time is really good as well, but I prefer Chim Chim Churi. Chim Chimney, Chim Chimney, Chim Chim Churi.
Oh, I like Chim Chimney.
What lie? There is quite a few.
Oh, I like Chim Chimney, but Stepping Time is just such a fun and energetic song that I love that scene.
All the songs in that movie are winners. I mean, it's just a matter of personal preference, really.
True. So, guys, I have a question. What is the point of a song? Is it just, I guess, to cheer up the kids because they may be losing their house?
Yeah. It's okay, kids. You'll be homeless, but now you know. But now, at least you'll have each other.
Or literally going to the sewers.
It's like you said before, Jova. Even when the songs in the first movie weren't technically progressing the plot, they were incredibly fun and creative. So you just didn't care. And they go, now we're going to. There you go. See.
I could just Michael going, "You took my kids where?"
Don't even worry about it.
Oh, come on, Michael. You went for this exact same formula when you were a kid.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Don't you see, Father convinced me that we were just on drugs when that happened. Honestly, that's the thing, though. Again, it doesn't make sense that Michael acts skeptical of his kids. Like, again, he was in this similar situation himself. Shouldn't he know better? Yeah.
Again, remember, Joe, they still want to have the conflict between the kids and the parents like it was in the first movie, even though it doesn't make any sense in this context.
See, it made sense in Hook that Peter was a different person because he had several years drilled into him that, well, he was this and that, and, well, because of the magic and how Neverland works, he lost his memories of it. So that made more sense. That is not the case with Michael. He and Jane do still remember Mary Poppins, as was shown when she enters the door. Honestly, I feel like the movie could have excelled better if, Mary had more interaction scenes with Michael and Jane as well.
Okay, I will give it credit. The dance choreography is excellent.
Oh, trust me. I kind of feel sorry for them that this movie was kind of lame. Like, from what I've heard, there's no sequels planned. Like,
No, this movie didn't really do enough in the box office for Disney to immediately rush out to greenlight a sequel.
and trust me, that's usually a bad sign. Because Disney are often very eager
Which
to
is
make a
interesting,
sequel
which
to
is-
something.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're making a sequel to Cruella and Aladdin.
Supposedly
So-
Cruella. Well, okay, Aladdin did make a lot of money from what I recall, and Cruella, according to Disney, made enough money for that. I do wonder if that's Disney trying to salvage the pride with that one, because again, we only have their word to go off of how well it did with Disney Plus, and I'm not quite sure how exactly they rank what's a success based off of Disney Plus. So
Oh, remember, Jova, to
Wait,
watch...
wait. We're rapping now?
yes.
Yes.
In the 1950s, 60s?
Well, to be fair, they're
We
rap.
have Lin-Manuel Miranda here. Shush.
To be fair, rap.
No, she right. No,
Oh.
I am sorry. The Miranda factor does not apply here.
Okay, to be fair, Dribs, rap technically was sort of a thing back then. It was known as patter songs.
In 60s Britain, though?
Well,
Yes.
actually, I think it's even... well, let me actually double check real quickly where the books take place real quick.
Oh.
Because because the books were already a thing quite before the Disney movie. Let me double check real
Okay.
quickly.
Let me put it like this, Dribs. It's not rap as we know it today. It was the equivalent to rap back then. Patter songs.
Yeah. Rap was... Okay, there you go. The first movie was published in 1944. So you can assume that the Society of London that was being portrayed there was 1944 London, basically. I think. Or maybe P.L. Travers was just going for the traditional ye old England type of setting, the same thing that Leighton does.
Again,
You know,
here's
it doesn't take place in any particular year, it just takes place in jolly old England, that traditional type of characterization that England gets.
jolly
in
old
media.
England that occasionally has modern planes flying in.
And yeah, just like in the first movie, Mary joins in.
Just like in Step in Time. But, shoot, what was I talking about before we got into this?
The fact that I forgot to.
Dwibs, Shiroi, Dej, what was I talking about before?
I don't know, rap.
Oh, right, yes,
That's it,
rap.
the rap. That's
Okay,
it, the rap.
yeah. That's the thing, Dwibs. Rap back in ye old England was known again as patter songs. It wasn't like, obviously rap as it is now,
you
but...
said that.
The point is, Dwebs, rap has been around for a long time, just not in the form that you think of it right now.
Yeah.
So technically, this is okay to have.
Okay, so I think...
I mean, you can argue it's unorthodox. But
It's
technically-
not like the Great Gatsby when they were playing a whole bunch of songs from modern times, even though the movie took place in the Roaring 20s.
Okay, I think I can sort of get what is kind of the problem with these songs. See, in the
They add
original...
nothing?
Let me
That too.
finish.
Go
Well,
on.
not only that. In the original movie, the songs relied more on the music and what they could do effects-wise. Sort of an art from adversity bout of thing. Whereas in this movie, it feels like they're focusing more on the spectacle and showcase than, well, the actual substance of it, if I may.
Oh boy. Oh, remember, Shiro and Dwebs keep telling us that London is foggy as shit.
Well, I get that,
And
but why are they lying? Just tell him we had a crazy dance sequence that led us here. He would have to believe them.
I'm not even kidding. Okay. I'm not even kidding you, Jova. There's a case in Greatest Attorney where they say that London gets so foggy that you can't even see your own hand in front of you.
Yeah.
That is amazingly thick fog. Jesus, how do you Londoners even walk about?
How do you even drive?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing about London is that people don't really drive. Everybody kind of takes public transport because driving around there is a pain in the ass and a waste of your time.
Okay, fine. Let me rephrase that question. How do public transport drivers know what they're doing?
They're built different. I don't know.
Oh,
Are they
guys.
robots?
So yes, Michael is reading his kids the riot.
No, it made sense for Mr. Banks to do this, but Michael.
Michael, you should know. And again, Mary doesn't even speak a word. Again, I get it. She wants them to learn some of their lessons on their own, but again, lady, it's a stressful situation. They could lose the house. Help them.
This movie is way too focused in repeating what happens in the first movie.
Again,
Even it doesn't make any sense.
You know one thing it doesn't repeat? Mary Poppins actually being helpful. Like, again,
Yeah,
for
that's
being
true. Mary Poppins helped in these moments as well in the first movie, but she stands there and does nothing.
Again, she's the flipping title character, and it feels like she does the least of anyone in these movies. How do you do that?
And yes, I get that he's breaking down because everything's fallen to pieces, and ever since his wife died, I get that.
Yeah.
But like I said, the movie doesn't really focus on him enough for this to really be earned. Not really.
This is why I... Hold on.
Nanny McPhee did this thing better, if I'm honest.
Oh, yeah, and you know what else? Nanny McPhee had a better sequel, too.
I haven't seen that one. Well, then again, no one did.
Shame. Okay, but that's the thing, though. It's why I groaned earlier about the dead mother thing, because they keep going about, Mother used to do this, Mother used to do that, everything's gone to pieces since Mother died.
Well, singing kills your mother, okay?
Oh god, we're going Phil Collins again, thinking about how much they missed their mom.
Again, I don't think we know enough. Okay, look, maybe we don't need to know her, but not even a flashback or anything about her or whatnot. It feels
The idea, well,
weird.
okay. To be fair, the idea behind this song is that they're trying to comfort their father. So it's more supposedly it's more about the bond between Michael and his kids rather than the mom herself. That's what I think they're trying to get with. It's just that, like I said, the movie doesn't really focus enough on him. Because remember, Mr. Banks got his good share of focus in the first movie, but Michael, not really. Michael has that one song at the beginning, and that's about it. In this moment here, really.
Here's a question. How does any of this work with Mary? As in, what does Mary actually do to help me with this? They could have done this with the father just fine. The only thing Mary has really helped with is inadvertently pointing them towards the bank so that they could overhear that Colin Firth is the bad guy.
Here's the okay. Let me put it this way. Yes, I do believe what Rob Marshall is saying. Yes, I do genuinely believe that he's a big fan of the material. I just don't think he understands it.
Like, and
And
yes, okay.
Let's also get something out of the way.
I get Mary
Go on.
Poppins could be.
I feel
go
that
on,
needs
Dej.
to be acknowledged.
Go on.
Go on.
You can
Dej.
be a fan of something, but you also need the talent in order to make it good.
I wouldn't say
Obviously.
he's not talented, but you also need to not get blinded as well in it.
Mm-hmm. Because Rob Marshall's
Oh,
so
and
obsessed.
look at that. He pretty much gets the message now. So, wait, hold on. But
There
we
you go.
still
Hold
still have over 40 minutes left of movie.
Hold on. Which, allow me to remind you, was Mr. Banks's problem as well in the first movie.
Isn't the arc is that he's just like his dad going through the same issue?
Well,
Basically,
well,
when you
okay.
get down to- I mean, it's not like exactly 100% the same, but it boils down to the same beats, really, when you get right down to it.
Here's the difference. They weren't in risk of losing the house in the original story. It was more just so
Sure.
their father wanted them to grow up proper and, live to be upstanding citizens like himself, yada, 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 and uphold his job and whatnot. Again, that's the thing. There wasn't this big conflict weighing everything down. And look, I'm not saying that a Mary Poppins film cannot have a big conflict. No. I get it. I do get it. Like, they could have thrown one in. It's just that, well, it doesn't feel like they had the right ideas in mind.
Like I said, it's because it's not focused on it enough. Like, if this movie focused more on the relationship between the Michael and his kids, rather than just have the kids go through various sequences that have nothing to do with anything, really. Because in the original movie, it made sense for Mary to just go on these travels to these various places with the kids, because it was all about teaching them things and have, while at the same time allowing them to have fun, because Mary understands that it's also important to allow the kids to have fun.
Maybe this movie's trying to subtly hint that Mary didn't return for the kids so much, but for Michael and Jane's sake again, which kind of implies that she is now linked to Michael and Jane in some weird, creepy symbiotic way. But still, though, I feel like maybe the movie could have maybe have gone on that better. Again, how interesting would that have been? A Mary who's not here mainly for the kids, but mainly for the adults, in the sense where the kids arguably act more grown up. So yes, they're packing up everything, and soon we'll be out of the house.
Here, allow me to help you, Jova. You know, it's like they want to have the big conflict about losing the house, but at the same time, they still want to recreate the small conflict aspects of the first movie. So they want to have it both ways.
And it only works if you know what you're doing. And I'd argue they didn't. Well, not in the sense that they didn't have a plan. No, they clearly did. It's just, again, everything is working against each other. The movie makes Mary Poppins look ineffective or just too much of a dick, in the sense that, again, Mary, you could have maybe have helped us solve the plot earlier. And again...
So then we wouldn't have a 2-hour movie, now would we?
Okay, if I remember correctly, the first movie was just 90 minutes. Let me double check how long the first movie was.
I feel like the first movie was at least 2 hours as well.
Let me see. 149 minutes. So 1 hour and 19 minutes.
Wait.
Sorry. 2 hours and 19 minutes, sorry.
Oh, so it was technically longer than this.
It was technically longer than this movie, and I can tell you that it doesn't, even though it's technically longer, it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it. That's the effect of something good.
But
if
look,
something's good, it doesn't feel long.
But look, guys, we're getting this touching scene of all their neighbors seeing them off.
By the way, sorry for all those cannon shots.
Yeah. Oh.
Sure,
oh, wait, guys. This bit here. Yes, they patched up the kite with one of his old drawings.
By the way, Michael, why didn't you treasure that kite? But you think, considering it was the first time you and your father played...
Because he grew up and all that jazz. But guys, get ready for a plot twist. It turns out that the certificate was patched into the drawing on the back.
Oh no, this is the look at the back of the receipt.
They had...
What?
They had that certificate the entire time on the back of the kite.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
No, you stay.
No, Dej. No quitting.
And you had a question for me, Pedro, by the way?
Yes.
If you could stomach the Ace Attorney evidence on the back of the receipt shit, you can stomach this.
Anyway, sure, question. If you had an upstairs neighbor who shot a cannonball once every hour, like, what would you do?
Honestly, me and Alice would probably turn our flat into a steampunk ship-looking thing.
Oh my god!
We'd be right in on that.
Well, there you go. Let's get the admiral to move to Swansea then.
But yes, guys. So, guys, you want to talk about artificially lengthening the plot? Literally, the characters had the winning item this entire time on the back of a kite.
Our garden's probably big enough for a cannon. You can park it here.
Here's the thing. I get what they're trying to do. Thematically, the writers are trying to implicate that, you see, all Michael had to do to solve his problems was to
look into his childhood.
Look into his childhood and find that warm person that he once was that he lost.
But Mary Poppins barely interacts with Mike. This would have been a lot more effective if she did.
Like I said, Mary's kind of useless in this movie.
What Deji said, and there's also and it goes back to the core problem of the movie not focusing on Michael enough for this to really be earned.
But now Mary's finally going to do something with the lamplighters to give them enough time. Because remember, it's until the clock strikes midnight. So what to do, what to do.
I go, wait a minute. I swear a second ago the clock Big Ben didn't say 5 to midnight. It looked like 20 past midnight.
Don't you see it's a time skip to show that time's running out?
Oh yeah.
Until the last bong.
Come on, man, I'm missing Coronation Street.
Wait, Coronation Street airs at around midnight?
Well, he might be one of those really lucky people to be able to record it or something. I don't know.
And now we're going to slow down time.
Yeah, this is probably the one sequence in this movie that's not rehashed. It's
Well,
them.
he did work long hours at the bank, so he's probably missed it already, and it's just really sad.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Sorry, Des, but Lynn and his army of lamplighters are going to destroy the Big Ben. In fact, they're going to climb all the way to the top.
We have to stop Big Ben from chiming. It's exactly as the bad guy worded it. We have until Big Ben tolls his last chime.
That's not
Isn't
how
Mary
time
magic? Why can't she do
Be
this?
prepared to say goodbye to the Big Ben, Dubs.
You know,
And this is why Leighton and Luke had to fix it at the beginning of
Is this
Eternal
why-
Diva.
Is this why Big Ben's under renovation in real life?
yeah.
Yes.
Java, you're giving an explanation?
You know, Des, it's funny you mentioned Mary being able to do something. She could do something, couldn't she? But instead, she's keeping the children safe. Because God forbid
I mean,
she
I
do
swear it should
something.
be the other way around.
Oh my god, are you so this plot is just poorly conceived.
Yes.
It really is.
No, after this, I'll make a suggestion to us.
What, we stop the commentary right here and now and take a bite?
Oh, thank you for that commentary, Mary. Do you want... look, Mary, I get being snarky and all, but these guys could literally die while they are trying to slow down they could die while they're trying to slow down the clock so an evil villain doesn't take away a family's home. And again, all you did was just subtly point a few kids towards the bank room. Jesus.
Yes, let's slow down Big Ben. Because it's not like there are other clocks in London or anything.
Well, again, the bad guy
He said
said...
specifically Big Ben.
Yeah.
Because when you go back in time with Big Ben, the entirety of London's clocks goes back in time as well.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
know.
it works, right?
Thematic thing and all that.
So basically, there you go, Dubs. The next time one of your watches is off,
Whew.
you know why. Someone has been messing with Big Ben.
Yeah, she's like, you know, fuck this, I'm doing it
Oh
myself.
my god, Mary's finally going to do something!
Yep. There's got to be a better way.
You know, you really should have had me do this from the beginning.
It's not like you were standing up to offer. Jesus. But yes, Mary finally does something. Now, how about turning it back a full hour or something?
But then Jova, the clock would be striking.
59 minutes?
Well, isn't your watch special?
Big Ben's gone dark. Oh, the madness! And she only took it back 5 minutes. Why not longer?
It would be suspicious.
He already suspects it, though. Like, just give them more time. He's the bad guy. Get it?
Go and do it! He even yells at his henchmen.
He has his henchmen literally
Okay,
try to stop them. No! Oh my god.
Yes, sir. It has.
Is wait,
This
is this a thing? Is Big Ben often wrong?
Well, I think the idea is like, oh, he was always crazy with
Also,
what he could.
Okay, if the certificate's been ripped up, it shouldn't count.
Also, Shiro, you said earlier that
Oh, you get it? It's foreshadowing because they kept saying that Big Ben was wrong. Like anytime that they fire on the hour, it wasn't perfect. It was always off. But it turns out they were right the whole time.
Well,
I get the
anyway,
No.
Anyway, sorry guys. It turns out without the corner piece, the certificate is worthless because that has the signatures on it.
Yep.
So that means all that slowing down the clock thing was pointless.
Brilliant. Yeah, why didn't you believe them sooner again, Michael?
because they
they're
thought
kids.
they're kids.
Because the script told me not to.
And as we all know, Pedro, in these kinds of films, never believe
But
the children.
wait, guys.
Dick Van Dyke! Hey, Dick.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, he looks exactly like how when he played the... yeah, like seriously, Dick still's got it, as you can see.
How old was he at this point?
Like 80 something, I think. I'm pretty sure he's quite old by this point.
So, yeah. Caught.
You know, Dad, you probably should have done this sooner.
Actually, Uncle, but yeah.
Yeah,
It probably
yeah.
took him a while to get here. I mean,
I'm sorry. I've gotten really old, and I was under the impression that I was going to be playing Bert, but turns out they got some...
At this point, he was 92.
Well, there you go then.
So...
Okay, but how is his accent here, by the way?
Doesn't sound British.
Oh, there you go. Maybe they decided to. Maybe Rob told Dyke, you know what, Dick?
Whatever.
Don't bother. Just use your natural accent.
I don't even care at this point. The movie, can it just end already?
Yeah.
That okay. You know what?
Let's see Dick Van Dyke do his thing. Come on.
You know what? Never mind. It's Dick Van Dyke, and you know what? Maybe
Dick Van Dyke in 2018. Why not?
You know what, honestly, yeah, this is actually probably the best part of the movie, just because of Dick Van Dyke alone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Though. Yeah. I'm not sure whether it's impressive or sad, but a 92-year-old Dick Van Dyke is the best part of the movie.
Dick Van Dyke is just full of charisma.
I'm gonna say it's good. He was about to remember the joke that got his father to laugh.
Yep.
Hey!
Kids, allow me to tell a story about a much better movie that we could be watching instead.
It's called A Better Movie.
They're playing Toppin's a Bag in the background. Doesn't
Yeah.
it just bring a tear to your eye?
Yeah, I remember the first movie. It was a much better movie than this, Rob.
Hooray!
Thank you, Dick.
So, does this mean that the whole turning back the clock thing was pointless?
Basically.
Well, I mean, they
Mary.
still had to get there, otherwise Colin Firth could just easily say, no, sorry, ran out of time, go away. Shoo.
Mary did the bare minimum then. In her own movie.
But yeah.
She flew.
Also, Shiro, you said that yeah, that's why Leighton and Luke had to fix Big Ben. But that's the thing, Shiro. 20 years later, in Leighton's Mystery Journey, the very first case is that somebody stole one of the clock hands from Big Ben. So
Wow, this clock has been through it. Like,
yes.
And nowadays, Big Ben's out of commission.
Well, for now.
Well, yeah, hence why I said nowadays. Oh, but Mary's about to leave because I guess they've learned a
at
Oh
work.
lesson.
man, they're happy. I can't.
Jova, I got it. My work here is done.
Indeed.
She technically did do some things, but barely
Come on, Java.
anything.
Hey, come on, Java. Let's go fly a kite.
Oh,
Come
wrong
on.
sign, Pedro. There's nowhere to go but up now. But yeah, hey, the best thing about this, I got a thumbnail to use thanks to Dwibs.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the big cameo of the movie, Angela Lansbury.
I'm sorry, Angela. This is supposed to be a Mary Poppins reunion, not a Nanny
Disney-
McPhee reunion.
Not just that, Disney fans, of course, will remember her as the voice of Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. Don't get me wrong, I love Angela Lansbury. She's a legend. Who doesn't, right? That goes without saying. Now, obviously,
But what does she
a lot
have to
of
do with
people-
Mary Poppins?
Nothing. So
I
a
mean,
lot of people,
they couldn't get Julie Andrews, so we got the other famous, elderly British actress.
here's what happened. Okay, you're probably wondering why would it make more sense for this old lady to be played by Julie Andrews? Well, that's just it. That was the original plan. However, Julie Andrews specifically said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the quote right in front of me, but I don't know what she said. She said she didn't want to be in this movie because she wanted Emily Blunt to be able to shine on her without her being there, possibly, she didn't want to step on Emily Blunt's shoes, basically. Like, this is her movie, let her be Mary Poppins. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love Julie for that. Like, she's a trooper. She didn't want to do, but at the same time, I really wish we could have had a Julie Andrews cameo in this.
Honestly, it feels like a weird reason to, like... I doubt her cameo alone would have upstaged Emily Blunt in this movie.
Well, I mean, it sounded. Well, it would have sounded. I mean, it sounds like a better idea for a cameo than what we would have gotten in Die Another Day.
Oh my god, that balloon is kidnapping father!
Apparently, in Die Another Day, there the guy who directed it wanted to have Sean Connery play James Bond, even though Pierce Brosnan was it's a stupid code.
I get the feeling Sean Connery said F that because he was pretty much done with movies at that point.
Well,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
came
yeah.
out a year before League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but yeah.
All right, here's what Rob Marshall said. Rob Marshall offered the role of that old lady to Julie Andrews, and here's what Marshall said. She immediately said no, Marshall said at the premiere. She said, "This is Emily's show, and I want her to run with this. She should run with this. This is hers. I don't want to be on top of that." So that's basically what Julie Andrews said. She, as far as she was concerned, Emily is Mary Poppins now.
I can't help, again, I get that that's probably the actual reason, but part of me just can't shake the feeling that that's just her nice way of saying, no, I'd rather play a kaiju than be in the soulless cash grab sequel.
Why are people happy? This is most unorthodox.
Oh, there's nowhere to go but up.
There we go. He picks one that takes him to outer space where he suffocates.
That would be dark.
I mean, Disney can be dark if
No,
they wish to.
sorry, no redemption for you.
Well, I mean, it's what he deserves. So.
I guess it's just it feeds into the issue of the movie being way too black and white, whereas the original was, well, gray morality. Oh look, even his henchmen get a happy ending, but he doesn't.
First movie didn't even have a villain to begin with, so there was not even.
Even David Warner gets to fly.
Yay!
Speaking of Angela
Is
Lansbury,
anyone-
have any of you guys seen Murder, She Wrote?
Yes.
I have not, but I've heard great things about it. So is anyone concerned about the fact that balloons are literally kidnapping the citizens of London?
Yeah, I mean, what happens when the balloons deflate?
Oh, well, we just stopped the movie before that.
Yeah, that's how the movie ends, and then everyone fell to the earth and died.
Mary Poppins could not be found for further questioning because she hightailed it out of there.
It's like when Willy Wonka got out of the the charges of killing and or maybe the rest of the children in the factory by signing it off to Charlie.
And then everybody flew off into space and died.
Okay. What would
I
you
think
guys
this was set to be a good, happy ending.
Okay, guys.
Mary Poppins is a murderer.
Okay, guys. What would you say is worse? Falling to your death or suffocating in space?
I don't know.
Falling to your death.
Well, I guess because it's faster.
Oh, but now Mary has to go because they're no
practically
longer
perfect.
miserable, I guess.
Well, practically perfect in every way. Yeah. I'm actually surprised it took them that long to reference the practically perfect.
Oh, it's
Can't
okay.
stand
We're all
to be around all
fine.
these happy people.
But Pedro, if we did that earlier and every so often, you'd be accusing us of trying to milk nostalgia.
Oh no, I would still, and I'm still doing it. I'm surprised that it took you this long.
Oh, look, everything's back. As part of her magic,
But where are the corpses falling onto London?
At this point, the movie's just going into full Disney whimsy mode. It's whimsy, so it's cool.
No,
Without any of the charm.
No, guys, don't you see? These petals are the flowers that the families of those that fell to Earth put on the ground.
I mean, that's the only way it can make any sense.
It's time.
She hears
Because
police. I hear police sirens. See ya.
Remember, that's what it said. Every time the
Well,
wind
she's not even
changes.
saying goodbye.
Remember, Joe, it was established in the first movie, in the books. Every time the wind changes, she must go. So.
But that happens a lot in the UK. What the hell?
Mary
yeah,
Poppins, you're under arrest. Stay where you are.
Shirley, why do you think each of the Mary Poppins stories only take place over like a couple of days?
This is true. I never thought about it like that.
There you go. Now, P.L. Travers knew what she was doing, Shira. Don't worry. If I remember correctly, P.L. Travers was a Londoner, so she knows that.
Why are you talking to me?
how do you even know Mary Poppins?
Well,
I'm sure they told him.
I'm Lin-Manuel Miranda. I know everybody.
You know what? I'll allow that.
Yeah, no, just don't talk to me about it, Lynn.
Well, guys, don't you feel self-fulfilled with this sequel? Does it not make your heart soar?
Not at all.
When you're underneath the lovely London, I don't know. Dibs always tells me that London is a shithole. So
and so Mary Poppins made her escape from the scene of the crime, not answering for the great raid of bodies of the 50s or the 60s.
Pedro, you see, portraying London as not shit is a form of escapism.
oh, of
That
course.
explains
All
London
right,
in
so
general.
that was the end of Mary Poppins Massacres London.
So Dibs, what do you think?
Yeah, having seen the ending and how everyone is just flying up in a balloon without any other way of getting down, it feels really.
Oh, wait. Ah, they did the thing with Dick Van Dyke's character name again.
Yeah,
clever.
because it was an anagram for his name. But yeah, I gotta say, with that in mind, the ending is actually pretty dark. Everyone's having a really fun time with their balloons, but then they all fall to their deaths because, well, I mean, they're just balloons. Which, I mean, honestly, would be a much more interesting ending to this movie. But as for the movie itself, I mean, it wasn't horrible. I didn't want to tear my hair out or anything.
No.
Plus, it was good. Plus, it was good for a laugh at a couple of occasions, pointing out how kind of dark these things can really be.
Mm-hmm.
But
And to be fair, Emily Blunt is a really good Mary Poppins when she's allowed to be Mary Poppins. And the rest of the acting is good too, even from the kids. But unfortunately, the issue that seems to affect not only the kids but almost a lot of characters in this movie that aren't named Mary Poppins is characterization, i.e., is either extremely simple or non-existent.
even Mary Poppins' characterization was screwed up. And yes, I get more like the book, but she's not helpful, like, for the majority of this movie.
Right. The music, I mean, Mark Scheiben's actual score was fine, you know. It sounds like something you'd expect from the Mary Poppins movie. But his actual songwriting, along with the other composer, on the other hand, isn't so great. The lyrics are so simplistic. They verge on Phil Collins in Tarzan/Brother Bear territory.
Except not as good and memorable.
Yeah, because
I would argue that Phil Collins' songs are more memorable than this, to be honest with you.
yeah, I mean, putting Phil Collins and Mark Mancina together in Tarzan for the music was, you know, that was a pretty good move. I mean, the music, I said, not the lyrics.
I'd argue
But,
even the lyrics are fine if you separate them from the scenes themselves.
That's the thing. If you take the songs by Phil Collins made for Brother Bear and Tarzan out of the movie, just listen to them as songs, they're really good songs. They just don't work in the movies that they're put in.
And not even
This-
that they don't fit the scenes, it's just that they literally point out
on.
what's going on in the scenes. But yeah, this, you're saying about this, Pedro?
These songs don't even work outside of the movie. They're just bland and blah.
Which is a shame, you know. I did like the score for North, aside from the terrible song in it.
which also kind of fits this movie. To be honest, I mean the songs here aren't horrible, like in North, but I mean it's not great either.
Mm-hmm.
I think the effects are fine, especially the one where they go into the 2D world.
Mm-hmm.
But really, the main culprit here is the script, and which is a shame. What I've heard of the other screenwriters, he can do good stuff. It's just this wasn't one of them.
I wonder if there was developmental troubles with this film because
From what I've looked into, Jova, no.
Huh.
I like how Disney Plus is recommending me the original movie.
It did it for me as well, Deji.
Well, it makes sense, that's the first thing you think of related to this movie on
I
Disney+.
know, it's like,
Yeah,
because
'cause
you watch Mary
yeah.
Poppins Returns, here, watch a good movie.
Yeah. I know the reason for that too, because it makes you want to watch that film instead.
Counterpoint, though. Whenever I watch Mary Poppins on Disney+, then it suggests to me Mary Poppins Returns. But honestly, I think if anyone of us got the most mad during this commentary, it sounded like it was Dead, especially when that back of the kite thing came up.
Yeah,
Alright.
just annoyed.
You
Yeah,
nearly rage quit the commentary, Dead.
I mean, I'll give this movie slight credit for one thing. It made me create something during watching the movie that made you guys laugh. I'll just finish off. It's fine, and I mean, I guess in terms of films that were released along a similar time frame, I think even close to even the same day. I mean, if you tied me to a chair and forced me to watch either this or Aquaman, I'd watch this because yeah, this film's not exactly great either, but I mean, at least the scene doesn't explode every 5 minutes.
Dead,
Okay,
why don't you go next? Because I could tell you have
go
quite a
ahead,
bit to
go ahead,
say.
Mitch.
Not really. It's just a very mediocre movie. It doesn't add any. I haven't watched the original, so I'm just going in from this. But this just feels like there is literally a nothing movie. Okay, the plot is one of the main characters from the previous films is all grown up, has kids, unfortunately has to struggle because his wife died. But the thing is Mary Poppins is here to help develop the kids, but from what I've seen, the kids are perfectly fine. They're not spoiled or rotten or anything like that.
They're not even naughty like Michael and Jane were in the original.
Yeah, if anything, if she had came to help Michael himself and they had development to see how far he's come, but still has a lot to learn in life, that would have been a better character arc.
It feels
But
like
no.
they wanted to retread the original movie without having, the same ingredients that original movie had plot-wise. And I don't get why. That said, though, why'd you get so mad at the kite scene?
Oh, I was just acting. I was pulling a Jova.
Okay.
Yeah. I again, it's just the songs aren't memorable. I wasn't invested when they were singing. I was just looking at my phone because of how ineffective they were. It's like, this is boring.
Again, it feels like this...
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm not the biggest fan of musicals, and I always found it like, oh, they're just singing, and it's like, it turns me off. This is a perfect representation of why Kid Me didn't like them, because they just sing, it adds nothing, there is no development to them. But as soon as it's like you get older, you realize, no, most songs usually serve a purpose.
Yep.
Hell, even High School Musical says
I need to show you the first movie then, so you can see first.
has a purpose for its songs.
It really does with High School Musical. As somebody who likes that trilogy, mainly as a guilty pleasure, but I do find some legit enjoyment out of them still.
No, I sincerely like the first one.
Yeah, I like
I just haven't seen the others.
Okay, look, if you like the first one, you'll like the other two. That's pretty much it. And you know
Okay.
what? I like them all as well. But yeah, like, there really is almost little to no point to the songs except just to fill up a scene here and there. Give us a song, or in some cases, literally just fill it out for exposition. Okay, Deds, I don't know if you heard it, but I would recommend you this YouTube channel called Team Star Kid. They've made some fantastic musicals that pretty much do exactly what you suggest.
Don't worry, Joe, but I'm already planning on showing him the first movie so he can see a great example. of one.
And tune in next time. Tune into Blue Zone when we do High School Musical versus Disney's Descendants podcast. Yeah. Mediocre movie, don't bother. Here I go.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
go ahead,
Yeah,
Sherry.
it is a mediocre movie, and as somebody who actually does like musicals, this isn't a very good one. Like, the songs really don't progress the plot in any way. They're just songs, and they're not even that good. I've already forgotten them. That happened the first time I watched this movie, too. And yeah, like we've said during the movie itself, everything else about the movie is great. Like, but the story and the music is just not that good at all. This was just
No.
like it felt like it dragged even more the second time around as well, even though I saw it not that long ago, to be fair. It was like last year. And I'm not sure what else there is to say. It's just this is not a good Mary Poppins movie, although Mary Poppins herself is great.
Emily Blunt is a wonderful Mary Poppins. She needs to be put in a better movie, though.
I mean,
And it's like we said, if it's like when Deji asked if we'd be okay with a straight up book adaptation, or at least as close as possible with this Mary Poppins. Yes, I would. Something that's completely separate from the original Disney movie, because a lot of this was just trying to mooch off that movie, and it just didn't land at all.
like, you know, again, at least Force Awakens differentiated stuff enough. This is literally, well, okay, it does add in the over-the-top bad guys and action scenes, but other than that, it's more or less the first Mary Poppins films, give or take a few scenes. Heck, we've even literally got the whole Step in Time tune, which comes right before the kids eventually make up with their father.
But that's honestly it for my final thoughts. It's just
So tell me, Sharon,
bland.
more or less entertaining than Cruella?
Less.
Yeah, I can get what you mean. Like, Cruella's a worse movie, but it took us places.
Yep. That's it, honestly. Who's next?
Me. Oh boy! It's meh. Like, it's not even spectacularly bad at the end of the day, like something like Cruella or Maleficent. It's just so meh. The songs aren't bad, but they're songs that feel specifically geared for the moment. I don't particularly have fun with them often. They're not really catchy or memorable either. For a movie that is to be a sequel to a one with great morality, the morality is so black and white. Like, and they paint this guy as one of the most obvious bad guys, and it's not even in a clever or fun way. It's just like the movie's literally beating you over the head with it. Like, and the movie has the goal to think we're too stupid enough because it gives us not only a blatant metaphor, but constantly reminds us that he's the bad guy. To the point where the kids have to point out, the wolf! Oh my god, he has a pocket watch just like the wolf! The wolf! And the wolves at the door, and yada yada yada. Right down to the point where the guy can't even get redemption because I guess he was just that evil. Because, money, 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 money. Yada yada yada. And that's more or less the film. Again, here's my biggest complaint. Mary Poppins does so goddamn little in this movie that... Did we even really need her for this movie? I guess at most, maybe she slowed down the clock enough, but... All the same, you could have just cut out the bit with Colin Firth telling them off and just had it be that, oh, Dick Van Dyke's character was there all along to listen to him being needlessly cruel and all that. And the movie would have probably have just concluded just as well. I mean, I guess a little bird wouldn't have been around to tell him, but again, Mary Poppins' characterization feels so off in this movie. Like, I get it. She could be snarky and a bit of a dick, but here she feels like way too much of a dick, like even more than the book counterpart, because she does nothing when it matters. Seriously. She just spends most of the movie singing songs with the kids. It's like she's trying to teach them a lesson, even though they don't even need to learn a lesson. Hell, she was the one who pretty much told them to go check out the banker's office, so... Yeah, and again, for as skeptical as Michael may be, I'm pretty sure he would have listened to her. Never mind the fact that certain bouts in this movie are literally just dumb luck moments like, oh, so only now we realize that we patched up the kite with pieces of the certificate. Only it doesn't really matter as much because the corner piece is missing and all this and that. Like, I feel like this is a movie that feels like it's on autopilot more than anything. You're just going for the motions, cover the songs. And it's a shame because it takes away from a lot of the other hard work, like with Cruella. Even though I don't like the movie, I never get the semblance that most people weren't trying. Hell, even with...
Cruella wasn't going for much. Cruella was genuinely trying. It's just that what he was trying was a terrible idea.
Oh, yes. This... Well, I'm not quite sure I'd call the idea terrible. It's just, well...
Making a sympathize for Cruella, I will argue, is a terrible idea.
Yes, it was. I'm trying to think of what to describe for this film, though. Like, I mean, you could argue maybe it's a terrible idea, but I feel like it's harsh even calling it a terrible idea. It's just like... Honestly, I'd argue this movie kind of suffered a worse fate than Cruella. Like, I guess maybe the reason Cruella supposedly made enough money, mind you, we don't have any strict numbers to prove that it did well, but whatever, Disney are making a sequel. I guess you could say Cruella had a much more thought-provoking idea. Still terrible, but a lot more thought-provoking, and something that definitely generated more of an audience. Probably for the wrong reasons, but I digress. This movie, on the other hand, is like, okay, even with the advertising, I don't think we really knew exactly what the whole point or plot of this movie was going to be. So, you could say there weren't really necessarily sky-high expectations, but what we got is just, well... Again, the characters don't act right for this plot, I feel like. Again, well, okay... Most of the characters do, except for the main character, Mary Poppins. I get that she's supposed to act aloof and whatnot, but again, it feels borderline dickish. The family is stressing over losing their house, and it wasn't like the kids were acting out of turn here, so it's like, did we really need Mary Poppins for this?
The problem is that, again, in the original movie and in the books, it was all about her helping the kids and everything, and even the family go through but the problem is that, again, like Jova just said, the kids in here, the kids don't really need help.
Hell, literally the only reason the family's going through tough times is because of the bad guy. If anything, that's what she should have been focusing on.
The problem is that, again, Mary is a nanny. Her entire purpose is to help the kids, and the kids don't need help. If the kids don't need help, then what the fuck is the point of Mary?
Like, okay, maybe if they wanted to establish that Mary does actually have a special fondness of Michael and Jane, and, you know, whenever they're in trouble, she wants to come back, that could have been nice. But no, it's just... I don't know. I think that's the best way to describe this movie. I just don't know. Well, I know it's not a good film, but it's... This is one of those movies that's so middle of the road that, like, I don't know. It's so meh that I really don't know. Meh. Go close us out with your thoughts, Pedro.
This movie is incredibly mediocre. it doesn't know like it tries way too hard to just go through all the beats of the first movie, even when it makes little to no sense to do it. And it's just like it's like they were trying to remake the first movie in this sequel. And it's just like,
oh boy.
Don't you just love it when sequels just try to retread ground for the first movie instead of, you know, advancing the plot and trying to move forward?
yeah.
Ugh.
Anyway, the point is this movie is not very good. It's a very mediocre movie that doesn't really give any justice to neither the movie nor the source material. And that's basically it. The songs are bland. Everything outside of the writing and the songwriting, though, is pretty much excellent. The acting is excellent. The choreography is excellent. The direction is pretty good. Like, it's such a shame that that they just like of all the live action. This is not the worst of the live action Disney thingies, but it's probably the most uninspired of them all. I mean, this one just doesn't. This one feels like it was prefabricated in a factory and assembled by machines, not by a natural human being.
Oh my god, did we even talk about the villain?
What do you want me to say? He is...
I just realized, oh right, we forgot.
Deji, the only thing missing about the villain is a cigar in his mouth and twirling the mustache and a top hat.
Yeah. I was about to say, don't forget the top hat.
That's literally all that was missing. Aside from that, yeah, he's pretty much a cartoon villain.
Okay, I'll say this. Probably one of Colin Firth's easiest paychecks. He doesn't really have that many scenes. He does also voice the wolf, of course, just to make it all the more obvious that he's the bad guy. But, you know, for the most part, he just lies back in the chair, orders his henchmen around, and, yeah. He's the bad guy. The cartoonishly obvious bad guy. Did we really need a cartoonishly obvious bad guy?
No, we didn't. The first movie didn't have a villain. It just relied on the characters' dilemmas and issues, and that was enough.
Yeah.
Not every movie needs to have a villain, guys.
No, not everyone.
Of course.
Ryan the Last Dragon didn't have a villain, and it worked just fine without it.
Well, technically it did with the darkness.
Well, okay. It has an evil force that they have to fight, but it doesn't have a traditional villain. Like it has antagonists at best, but they're not full blown.
That tried to kill them.
True, but they're not villains in the same sense that your typical Disney villain is.
Anything else to add, Pedro?
Nothing, I guess.
Is there anybody else who hasn't said anything?
Okay, question.
Yeah.
Is this better or worse than Cruella?
Okay.
Worse.
Okay.
Cruella's a worse movie, definitely. Like this movie,
Okay.
at the very least, with this movie, I can enjoy some nice choreography and all that stuff. Like, and Cruella, it was way more painful and frustrating for me.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, never mind.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you right in the sense that, like I asked her earlier, Cruella is a worse movie than this, but it's a more entertaining movie than this as well. I mean, at the very least, you'll definitely be feeling more stuff from Cruella. Yes, it may be headbanging from the stupidity of that movie, but I'll admit, something about that film feels like it's more inspired than this movie does. Like, I guess it's about a pick your poison. Do you want a god-awful attempt to make you sympathize with freaking Cruella de Vil? Or do you want a below average sequel to Mary Poppins where none of the songs really work for you, and, well, with it being a musical, there's a whole ton of them. Like, Mary Poppins feels like one of the most safe Disney movies I've ever seen. Like, as in, it pretty much follows the Disney formula, and I do mean the most basic of Disney formulas. Hey, let's give an obvious bad guy here, who's obviously heckling the good guys here, and we have to go stop that bad guy. Like, that's pretty much what the movie was. There wasn't really any big lesson to learn except for Michael learning to get back to his childhood and all that, but that was like, what, 10 minutes of the movie we spent on with him?
Yep.
So, it's technically better than Cruella, but in a lot of ways it's not nearly as entertaining as Cruella. And that's probably why Cruella got a sequel and this didn't.
I guess that's the thing. Like, I didn't even find Cruella entertaining. I find Cruella absolutely exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, with you.
You know what?
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
exhausting.
we were just straight up annoyed. Here we're just like, wow, this is nothing. It didn't hurt us. It didn't anger us. It's just like, yeah, I feel better.
I guess with Cruella, you have more bile fascination than anything. Again, I'm just...
Sure, I can see the potential for that. It's just that I just found that movie a fucking exhausting process.
Oh, trust me too. I guess... But like I said, it's sort of why this feels kind of like... I can't believe I'm gonna say this. It feels like a letdown coming to this movie after Crow. Like, Crow's the kind of thing that gets you pumped to take on something bad. Whereas this movie, well, if you watch this right after Crow, it just feels so anticlimactic in comparison. Like, it's not even the typical Disney live-action bad. It's just more like a sad, pitiful, gasping man trying to run a marathon, but he's playing it as safe as possible. So it's like, clap? Question mark? Okay, let's put this to rest, shall we?
Yes, that was Mary Poppins Returns. We hope you enjoyed this more than we did. Tune in next time for whatever live-action Disney thingy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Bye.